Hi, Vesta. How are you this morning? Okay, let me switch some things around. Hopefully I don't lose anybody. There we go. Oh, almost. Hold on. How do I get... Hi, Karen. Okay, there we are. Hi, Doris. Good morning, everybody. I hope everybody's doing well. Hi, Jean. Susan. Good morning. Okay, just trying to get situated. Hi, Sandy. All right, thank you, everybody, for being here this morning. I missed you last week. Just kind of a rough one on Wednesday and Thursday. Robin and Sandy are with you? All right. And Judy. Wednesday and Thursday was a little rough. I didn't feel good on Wednesday. And then I knew that my sister was going to let Roddy go on Thursday, and you know, you can't prepare for those things. It just losing a pet, and he was my little fur nephew. Losing a pet really hurts, and so that couple of days was a rough one. So thank you, everybody who is sharing. Maybe we can get some new people in, get some more people in. Sharon, I've been wondering about you. Hope you're doing well. Hi, Jean. Thank you for sharing. Okay, so, hi, Della. It's so good to see so many on here. We're going to do something that we haven't done in a while. I don't get a lot of happy mail, but I've gotten some that I've let just kind of accumulate so that I can share with you some happy mail. You know, a nice little stack. So we're going to do that first thing before we get started with the project. Hi, Paula. And there was a name that went by that I was unfamiliar with. D, where are you watching from? Let us know so that we can welcome you into the Facebook Live. Let's get started with some happy mail. So, Michaeline, hi! Thank you for sharing. Let's flip things around. And, like I said, do some happy mail. Okay, you just gotta bear with me here. I got things I gotta flip. Kind of rearrange some things. Let's make sure it looks good on the computer, and it does. For those of you who are new, my name is Julie Heights, and I am the Chirpy Card Maker of Quilts and More. Welcome to my Facebook page. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I live in Toledo, Ohio. So if you're new, let us know where you're watching from. Let's get this little stack here. And if I have shown these before, I'm going to apologize, but I couldn't remember because I kept forgetting to share what I had received in the mail. So, but you know what? You can never see inspiration too many times. So this card is from Vesta. I've never done one of these cards. Vesta sends me a lot of cards with techniques and folds, things that I have yet to do. So always so inspiring. But this is what they call window sheet. Anybody correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this is a window sheet. But it gives you that clear card front. And then when you open it up, she had room up here to write a little note. And then she decorated the front with her flowers. Here she's got her image is actually stamped on the inside. And look how she placed her little embellishments. These are the centers of the flowers, but they're actually on the outside of the window sheet. Isn't that cool? So thank you, Vesta. And this card is from Joanne. And back when well, not our piping plover, but when Monty, the piping plover from Chicago, passed away, she knows I love the plovers. And so she sent me a thinking of you card, you know, with the passing of Monty. So I just wanted to show you Joanne's card. I love that she's got a bird on her stamp, a little hummingbird. So thank you, Joanne. It's always comforting to get a card at those kind of times. And I am just really sensitive about the piping plovers. So our little family did not return this year. I really don't know how to go about my summer without monitoring the piping plover family. So maybe next year, wherever they're at, I hope that they're getting busy making more baby piping plovers. And then this card is from Jan I do not like messing up people's last name. Makadis. And she is a back porch stamper, which the back porch stampers is my upline, who is Karen Titus. That is her group. And so she sent me some happy mail. Just simple black and white, always classic, right? And just hoping to bring a smile to my face. It was totally unexpected, and I love it. Look at her little stamp on the back. So thank you, Jan. And then Doris. Doris and I have had a thing about sharing kits and cards for a while now. And so she sent me a couple packages. And the first one I meant to share last week, but then I didn't go live. One of the cards is this one right here. Sending positive thoughts and feel good wishes. I have this stamp set. What I love that she did, and it just retired. But what I love, and Doris, since you're on here, correct me if I'm wrong, but did you trace this little rectangle on the inside of this? I love this. What a really, really pretty element to just give that illusion of a rectangle or a frame in the card. So if you could please, and why am I lagging? I'm looking at my computer and I'm still showing the last card, but yet I have moved on. So let me see, is there something going on here? Computer keeps freezing, not sure what's going on. Oh boy. And the live button, I'm going to check my phone, make sure nobody is like trying to call me. No, nobody's trying to call in. I thought that might be the interruption. So let's see what's going on here. Must be on Julie's end. Eileen's having difficulty. And it's freezing a lot down in Florida. Do you think that I should like just end the live and try try it again. I'll give it a few minutes so it catches up, and you let me know if maybe we should try this again. Because I certainly don't want you to be frustrated. Okay, I'm just going to give it a few more seconds. Let it catch up, and then you tell me if you think it would be a good idea that we could just end the live. It seems better now, Eileen. Maybe somebody was trying to call in on my cell phone. Just keep going for now. Seems to have stopped. Seems better now. Okay, thank you, everybody. Okay, so Doris, if you're still on and you didn't get frustrated by whatever was happening, let us know about your little personal touch here of creating like a frame. Okay. Okay, great. Okay. Alrighty, I'm going to quit worrying about it. So that is a beautiful card. And then she sent me a whole set. The patchwork layout that we did a couple of weeks ago, where we started with a large patchwork and then we chopped it up. Look at these cards. She sent me a whole set with the birds. And I asked her about the greetings and the dies. And this is from the geranium bundle in the new catalog. So if you're wondering, it's go take a look at the geranium bundle. I added it to my wish list because I just love these dies with the stitching around them. So I added this to my wish list. So thank you, Doris, for a whole set. And then a second package that I got just a few days ago, Doris sent me this paper. She sent me a paper pack and another boatload of handmade cards. And I want to show you this little folio that she made. And she was so kind to share where I can find, I think it's, is it May that showed this folio, Doris? But look at this folio. Here we got a little tag and a little pocket on the front. And then when you open the folio up, there's a pocket here that can hold cards and another pocket right here that will hold some more cards. Now, I did see, I did go check out May's, Make It With, Doris, you're going to have to help me on this one. I did go check out her YouTube channel, and she actually makes this with even another insert. But I think that this is gorgeous, and this is going to be a project for us. So, this is just the cutest little folio. This would make a wonderful gift for someone. They can have all their cards in envelopes kept in one nice little folio. We got some Velcro here to close it. Isn't this a beautiful gift that you could make and give somebody? I just love it. So, future project here. I had mentioned to Doris, I said, wouldn't that be a great project for National Quilt Day? But National Quilt Day isn't till March, and I don't think I can wait that long. Hi, Beth. So we might have to make it before National Quilt Day. That's just way too long of a wait. So have to work that into the projects. Okay, so a couple reminders. The December, is it December to June? We've got a mini catalog that's retiring at the end of the month. This one, January to June. This one's retiring at the end of the month. There's a lot of items that are sold out. But when you go to either my online store or you go to Stampin' Up's website, only what is available will show under last chance products. A lot of things have sold out because we're so close to the end. But check that out. And next month for me, July's going to be all about Christmas. We're going to do Christmas in July all month. Okay, so to give you a heads up on that. And also a little tidbit that the June barn quilt block of the month is going to be holiday inspired. So we're going to keep the whole Christmas in July theme going throughout. And Dora says she framed it by tracing the pencil around the frame die. I just think that that was such a beautiful touch. I love any type of a little extra that you can put in the card. Doodling. That pencil line, that stuck out to me the most. Joanne says, I love the sentiment, live life in full bloom. Yay! So I'm glad you're excited about Christmas in July. It's going to make it easy when I'm, trying to figure out things. So we'll do some 3D projects, some Christmas cards. Maybe we need to make that Christmas folio and then tuck some cards in there. You could either give it as a gift for Christmas, or you could make some Christmas cards for someone. It might even be a good seller if you wanted to make the folio and put in your Christmas cards and sell that. Let your imagination run with you there. Okay, so I'm going to show you what we're working with today. So the Hello Ladybug bundle. I'm so glad that I finally got a chance. Okay, now what's going on? We're behind again. Is it just a little bit of lag that I don't need to worry about? Because I noticed that it's behind on the computer. Nope. Doesn't look like anybody's trying to call in. Okay. So Hello Ladybug. I used this little die out of the stitched rectangles. This die here works really good with that sentiment. May your greatest wish come true. So I use that. And then for my quilting, I used the stitched greenery die. So I did my quilting with this die. I like that even though these are leaves, just the stitching and the way it's moving around, it reminded me of the little lines that you would draw behind a butterfly or a ladybug, dragonfly, as they're flitting or fluttering about. So, kind of is the reason why I chose this for my quilting. You could certainly, if you want to quilt your card today, you could use any embossing folder or whatever you want to use. But it doesn't have to be quilted, so don't worry about that. This is my prototype, but I'm going to do a little something different with my linen thread. But this is the design that we're going to use with scraps. And because they're kind of like going all over, it just again made me think of the path, the flittering and fluttering of ladybugs or butterflies, dragonflies. You could use any garden motif here. If you don't have the ladybug, you might have a butterfly or you might have a dragonfly. But the, I think it's called Awash and Beauty, the designer series paper. I'm really into my flower beds and my gardening and stuff. So I really love this paper. And it was, you know, between the gardening and the ladybug, it was my inspiration for the project. These are all our florals. And then this is the flip side of the designer series paper. So, really, really cute for a summer flower project. Okay. So that's going to be our card. And there's the inside. And there is my backing. I still have to put a button on it. But that is our project for today. And when we're done, I'm going to show you some other cards that I did with this same zigzagging of our scraps, okay? So let's get all of this out of the way and bring in what we're going to work on. Okay, so your 7 strips of designer series paper that are 3/4 of an inch by 6 inches. We're going to cut these in half because you only need a 3-inch piece. So these will actually yield 2 card fronts. Okay, and if you've got more than 7, that's wonderful because I am totally a fan of having options. I don't believe that you can have too many scraps in front of you to choose from. So if you've got more than 7 to choose from, that is wonderful. Okay, so we've got those. These are my scraps. I'm going to show you a little how the Hello Ladybug punch works. Then we've got, because this will yield two cards, you'll want to cut yourself 2 card bases, 2 backings. I have 1 here, but just think double, okay? And then I have a card insert. The insert and the backing are the same size. They're 4 by 5 1/4. Our standard card base, this one here, is 8 1/2 by 5 1/2. So you're cutting your 8 1/2 by 11 sheet of cardstock in half and then scoring it at 4 1/4. It's hard to see on the basic white. So there's our backing and our insert. Now this layer here is 4 by 5 1/4. And the layer that we're going to glue our strips on is 3 3/4 by 5 1/4. I wanted my work surface here to extend out. It's going to create these little squares here, but I wanted to stretch the background, the cardstock layers. So that's why I matted it on the same color. Once you do it, you can switch it out, but I wanted to extend these little squares, and you'll see how those pop up. Okay, so we're going to start working with our piece that's 3 3/4 by 5 1/4. And what we need to do is we need to cut all of our strips in half. So I'm going to bring in my trimmer. And I'm just going to do 3 at a time. And I'm just going to make sure that they're all flush. I'm going to put it right here at 3 inches on my trimmer. Make sure everything's and I'll set one set aside. Bring in this grouping. My end's over here at 3. And there we have our strips. Okay, pretty easy, right? Okay, now what you want, one of the things that you're going to want to take into consideration is your excuse me, I feel a tickle coming on in my throat. Are you going to make your card in landscape mode, or are you going to make it in portrait? Because if you have directional designer series paper, if it doesn't, you know, it really doesn't matter if it's going in the same orientation or not, you know, if it's non-directional. But if your preference is you want if you're going in landscape mode and you've got a pattern like this, this should be vertical. Okay, so just keep those things in mind. Sometimes you look at the designer series paper and it may be directional, but the piece that you're using when you look at it, it doesn't matter if it's horizontal or vertical. So, but just something to keep in mind when you're cutting your designer series paper. So with our strips, what we're going to do is you're going to lay out a pattern and just see where the colors fall, and then just kind of switch things around. So I think I might want to go with the blue here. And then there's some Tahitian tide popping out of that one, so I might go there. Just make a pattern that you like. You're just laying them from one side and then hopping over and putting it down on the other. Something like that. Okay, so just get a pattern, and remember, double-sided paper, so you can flip things. I think I'm going to flip this one around and put some more color. Maybe just leave it. No, I don't know if I like that. Or maybe this one's got more color there, so I think I'll just flip this one over. So just get a pattern that you like. And once you've got the pattern, you're just going to glue these strips down. And I'm going to start, you can decide if you want to start on the right or the left. I'm just going to make it easy, and I'm going to start right up here in the upper left hand corner, and I'm going to make sure that I'm all the way at the edge and that I'm all the way at the top. Now the next piece, I am going to put it over here, and see how it makes that square? So it kind of looks like you did a lot of piecing, but actually it's just your background layer popping through, popping out. The less cutting and the less small pieces that we have to work with, I think is better. Sometimes I feel like my fingers do not cooperate very well when I'm holding tiny pieces. So if there's an opportunity to either kind of cheat and let something peek out and give you the illusion that there's a square that was cut there, that's okay. Rather spend my time getting cards put together than having to spend it cutting a whole bunch of pieces. Although you do what you got to do to get the result that you're looking for. So and then once we get all these strips glued down, we're going to trim this. We're going to trim 1/8 of an inch from the top and the bottom. I didn't want to have to deal with too many different pieces, different sizes of paper to cut. And so I went ahead and I just stayed with 3/4 of an inch in width, and it was just easier to trim it down once everything was together, instead of telling you to have two pieces that were 5/8 5/8 by 6 or 3. It's just one more thing to have to remember. So, and the reason why I'm taking 1/8 of an inch off each end is because we want this to be 3 3/4 by 5. And I just like things to be even. So that's why I'm taking 1/8 of an inch off the top and the bottom, because I want it to look, and I can show you what I mean by that. If this was 4 by 5 1/4, and I go down 1/4 of an inch, this quilted piece is 3 3/4 by 5. I wanted my end pieces to look the same. So that's why I took 1/8 of an inch off on this side, 1/8 of an inch off on this side, just to kind of make it look even. So once you get your scraps adhered, then you would want to trim this, and then you can do your quilting. Did I kind of say it backwards? You'll have to remind me. So 1/8 of an inch, I'm going to work on this side of my trimmer here. So you've got a full inch here, 3/4 of an inch, that's a half. This next one right here, that is 1/4, and this line right here is your 1/8. So it's like a sliver that I want to take off. And then I'm going to flip it around. Now I know I can put this at 5, and whatever's hanging out over here is going to come off. But it should be almost the same. Okay, so now we're 5 by 3 3/4. Now you can do your quilting. You could do your quilting before, but if you're using an embossing folder that's really lofty, and what I mean by that is there's a lot of, hills and valleys because of the impression, then your blade might not want to cut real easily. So trim it down first and then do your quilting. But if you forget, don't worry, you'll still be fine. You just might have to be really careful on your cutting. So I went ahead and I already did a piece that I ran through the Stitch Greenery die. Okay, so we can put this aside and I'll finish that card later. So there we've got our quilted layer. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my card base and I'm going to fold that. Give it a good crease. And I'm going to do this in portrait. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put my backing on. This one is kind of directional, but I think could be forgiving. I like my quilt cards to have a backing, just like a quilt would. You could even run this piece through the Stitched Greenery die and give it that quilted backing. I always think of things, after I've already started putting things together. Does that happen to anybody else? You start with your project and then your mind goes, oh, but what if I do this? And oh, I want to try that. Pretty soon you've made 6 cards, kind of the same, but you keep adding an element to it every time you think of something new. Okay, I like a white on white card. So there's my insert. And then I had a strip of Designer Series paper left over from my cutting. So I could put this, I'm going to put this at the bottom here. That piece I don't think it was mentioned in what you needed to do for today's project, but I know you got them laying around. So let's just put a little pop of color here at the bottom. And then of course, if you were going to stamp a greeting, I would have done all of that before putting my insert down. I like making a lot of note cards. Keeping my sentiment maybe on the outside, and I like to write on the inside. So there we have that. And let's set that aside. Let's bring in our layer. This was the 4 by 5 1/4. And what we're going to do is we're going to adhere this to that layer. Okay. Let's switch this around. And you want a nice little even border all the way around. Give it a good press because you want your, whatever you're using as an adhesive. This die here has a little tiny raised holes on the other side. So you just want to give it a good press so that everything is connecting and sticking together. Okay, so there's our card front. And now I'm going to bring in my little tray of goodies here. There's my button for the back, a little bow that I want to incorporate. The rest of that is just scraps. I'm using the linen thread. I really, really like this thread for to use like ribbon. And I think what I want to do is I'm going to wrap this around down here. I'm going to wrap this around twice. I think what I didn't like about my prototype card is that only one strand of the linen thread just seemed too flimsy or not thick enough. So I'm just going to wrap that around twice. And then look at it again. It appears that I'm pretty good, but I get a little wonky. So that's par for the course. So I like the double strand. It's just a little thicker. And if, see, this just seemed too scarce or too sparse. So go with a double strand there. And then I'm just going to look at placement. I think I'm going to pop up the greeting. And I'm going to pop up the ladybug. And then I just want to, I'm going to use a glue dot and put my bow down there. So I've got my layout pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and put my card front on. Again, we're going to leave a nice little border. I love So Saffron, don't you? It's just such a buttery yellow. I just love So Saffron. This card just gives me a cottage vibe. All these colors, I love cottage. When we used to use a retreat center for our guild that you had to bring your own bedding, and we were all on like twin size beds. And so every year I would make a twin size quilt to go on my bed for next year's retreat. And the one year I did, my quilt was in like the buttery yellows and the soft pinks and roses. It was all a real cottage feel. I still have it. It's one of my favorites. I got a little adhesive. Pardon my reach. I'm going to just use my adhesive eraser here and get that off of there. Okay, so there we go. Now, before we get into putting it all together, I wanted to show you the punch. So, here's the punch, and I just used a piece of basic black cardstock, and I stuck it in on this half, and I just punched out the ladybug body, and then I did my stamping, and again, you just line it up. You want to see a nice little white border, and I'm probably being a little picky. And then punch that out, and there you have the wings. So a really, really cute set. And it's so versatile. So I just wanted to show you that. And we can get back to this. So I had wanted to pop up my greeting. So I'll use I think a couple should be enough on this. I was just going to put this right down here. Okay. And then for my bow, I'm going to use a glue dot on the back. I am not the best bow person. And since I doubled up on my wrap, I just doubled up the linen thread for my bow too. And I on purposely made the loops bigger and smaller than the other one. I like that look. So we're going to put a glue dot on the back of our knot here and kind of get it tucked in there. And then I am going to put that right about there. And I can trim up my ends. I really like how wispy and kind of wild they are. I like that look. So I might just leave them alone. And they'll move around when I go to put this in an envelope. I'm going to leave it. I like that. I like that wild look. So there's that. And then we're going to pop up, uh-oh, my Ladybug decided to fly away from me there for a second. So let's put about 3 on there. Are we still doing okay? All right, no interruptions. And I'm just gonna place the Ladybug maybe right about there. I want some good contrast with my paper so that the Ladybug stands out. But there's our card. Oh wait, we're not done. Whoops. I love these solid faceted gems. Oh, I just love them. I love the colors, and I love that little gleam that they have. So I am going to, again, use the blushing. I think it's Petal Pink, not Blushing Bright. I think this is Petal Pink, but it'll go really nice. I want a soft feel here. So on the first one I did, okay, kind of look at this here. I'm going to place a small one. I'm going to place it right there. And then just use maybe I'm just going to Oh, this is always the hard part. I'm looking at making a triangle. Maybe we'll put one up here, and then maybe we could get away with doing this right there. Yeah, we can get away with that because I'm pretty busy down here. So I want the person's eye to keep moving around my quilt here. So because we've got a lot going on here, then make the eye travel up off the page the direction that it looks like the Ladybug is flitting about. So there's the project for today, and all I gotta do is put my button on the back. So there's landscape versus portrait. And then I'll show you a couple other cards that I did with the Ladybug punch. And the same patchwork background. Okay. So we're all done. What do you think? Did you like it? Let me know. throw some hearts up or something. Let me know if you liked it or not. And if you have any questions, let me know. Okay, so let's look at some other cards that I did. Now this one here, I used a lot of ladybugs on a couple of these. And I did this one using the Brights Designer Series paper. And it's a little different than the other one. And I also used the Quatrefoil embossing folder. This is a beautiful embossing folder if you want to add quilting to your card front. It is subtle, but it is so pretty. It lays the layers down enough. It's not too lofty. Very subtle, beautiful quilting background is the new Quatrefoil embossing folder. Okay. And then what I did on the inside was I just put another ladybug, and I just took little dots and made it look like, you know, it had been flitting around the card. So that was in the Brights. And then I did another one in the Subtles. My intention was to do all the collections, but then, you know, there's only so much time in your day. So this was the Subtle. I thought these colors here would make a really cute baby card. And instead of using the black, which would be really kind of harsh on the softer colors, I went with basic gray for the body of the ladybug, and then stamped in basic gray her wings. And this is the Pretty Flowers embossing folder, another beautiful one for your quilting. And again, I just carried that over onto the inside. And then I used the little, some little black embellishments on the antenna there. So that was done in the Subtles. And because next month is Christmas in July, I did a Christmas card, but I used the Scotty Punch, the Scotty bundle that's going to be in the new mini catalog that you'll be able to purchase July 1st. You can get this bundle. I did a Scotty card, and it is so cute, and also with new Christmas Designer Series paper. So this is that same patchwork background. I used the painted texture embossing folder, and then there's the Scotty Punch. The background is actually one of the stamps that comes in that stamp set. So I just took Sahara Sand ink and stamped it on Sahara Sand cardstock, and then used my circle layering dies. So this like, it's not a, would you call it a plaid or a check? That's not actually a Designer Series paper that you'll find in the collection. You can make your own Designer Series paper. And then to bring in the black and white here, I brought in the black and white checked ribbon. And then I used the new Christmas pearls. This is, actually it looks like a soft succulent shade, and I thought it helped bring out that there, but it also looks kind of silver once you put it on the cherry cobbler. And then Merry Christmas, may your days be furry and bright. And your backing on your quilt there. So that was, I had to use the Scotty. That was my first time playing with it. And this stamp set is so cute. I hope Stampin' Up, I know it's a little early to be like, what should make it into the next annual catalog? But I am really hoping that this carries over. Yeah, there's so many things they could do with that stamp set. So just some ideas for you with the patchwork background that we did today. I am going to be really excited to see what you post over in the Quilt Cards and More group. I can't wait to see your cards. So that's what today was all about. So I'm just going to look at some comments here. Oh, Jean, my son's name is Scott, so I have loved Scotties. Okay, so good. I think the pattern went over really well with everybody. And Beth says she can't wait to finish hers up. Yay! That means I'm going to be getting hopefully some notifications on my phone so I can hop on over to the group and see what you have done. So that's all I've got. I look forward to next month, the whole month, Christmas in July. And if you don't have a demonstrator and you're interested in getting a catalog, the new mini that's coming out and the celebration brochure, which celebration is July and August, please shoot me a message. I have some extra catalogs here that I would love to be able to send you. So if you just send me a message with your address and let me know that you're in need of a catalog, I can get those out to you. Everybody, have a blessed rest of your day. And we'll be hanging out over in the group, Quilt Cards and More, until I see you again. So take care.